Little Nightmares, the game that uses horror and children to scare you. The independent studio Tarsier wanted to put a message through their video game, but what was that message? Overconsumption, corruption, and childhood trauma. But what makes this game so terrifying isn't the looming themes that you have to do research. No, it's the environment and the gameplay. The game begins with a dark tone, blacks and greys swirling in your vision. The camera zooms in until a clear shape of a woman appears. Who is she? We don't know yet. As she turns, the screen begins aggressively shaking until it cuts away. A child in a yellow raincoat gasps awake. It seems like the introduction was a nightmare. There are no sudden scares, just you and the little girl 6 who you discover you are playing as. Questions fill your mind. Who is she? Where is she? Why is she here? And why was she in a suitcase? There is no light, except for the lighter 6 has. You hear water splashing on the floor. The further you stray, the more strange sounds enter. It's low, but low in tone. It is unidentified as the game doesn't give you the reasoning for what is making that noise. You get to an area where you walk up a staircase. The camera zooms out to show an endless trench of darkness and giant chains. This is like an establishing shot for the video game, but it still doesn't tell you where you are. There's a looming presence, but you don't know whose it is. Leading through a small hole in the wall and drop down onto a box. As you climb down and continue, the camera slowly zooms out once again, and the sound of metal scraping fills your ears. Panning the camera upwards and are introduced to the first main antagonist, the janitor. But you don't get a proper look at him, just seeing a short man with long arms dragging a cage. He disappears, snapping you out of your staring, and see a long rope leading up to a barred window, your only way forward. You drop down and continue until the sound of stone grinding enters. It's a room with an eye moving back and forth with a yellow gaze. This is your official introduction to the first and second chapter, the prison and the lair. Climbing up cages, you're met with a door. Unsuspectingly, you push it, only to be a room filled with beds and children sleeping on them. The janitor enters. You run to the nearest bed and hide under it. You forget to switch off your lighter, thinking you're caught. You see the janitor's face the first time properly. There is skin sagging down, covering his eyes. He is blind. He left just as quickly as he entered. You seize the opportunity and leave, continuing on with your journey. I'm not going to retell the story, as that would take too long, so instead I'll tell you how scary the environment of the prison and the lair is. The more you explore, the more questions you are asking yourself. You immediately notice the large structure of the prison and the lair. It is large and spaced out clearly, not fit for someone 6's size, but you can fit into pipes and climb various structures. Hope is not lost. It's done on purpose to make you, the player, feel small and rely on stealth tactics such as crouching and climbing. It somehow feels sterile yet dirty, a contradiction that honestly does not make sense. It feels cold and distant, as if the people weren't even present, but somewhere far away, or just in their minds. It is tense as you avoid getting caught by the janitor and trying not to fall off from any high places, as well as not give away your position. As everywhere you go, the janitor is always there. Finally, getting past all the areas in the prison and the lair, you climb out of this vent and see these meat hooks. You grab on and get taken further up. And just like in the beginning, the camera zooms out to see that endless trench of darkness, and a silhouette in the background, sitting on a ledge with smoke leaving it. You're shaken off from the hook and land on a pile of meat. Climbing through a window, this is where we discover one out of 2 antagonists in the kitchen. The camera is angled in a way where you see everything of this chef character. You hide under the tables and sneak past, hoping he doesn't see you or hear you. You creep around on tiled floors that certainly haven't been cleaned. Multiple stoves and ovens are left on and open. You question who needs this amount of food to be made, not daring to go near, knowing how fragile 6 is. The kitchen doesn't feel safe. It feels rather hostile. There's heat coming from the appliances, but it still feels cold and uncomfortable. There's questionable stains and liquids on the floor. You don't dare name it, but it's obvious. Climbing up your cabinet and walking across posts, you enter a bathroom with 2 toilets next to each other. It's unsettling and raises a question of why. Entering a room, you see a key. It's the one you need to progress. While climbing up the radiator, you grab onto the key, swinging until it lands on the floor with a loud click. Dread sets in as you realize that there are 2 of them, meaning twice as more difficulty trying to sneak around. It's twice as dangerous to be reckless. Continuing to scale the kitchen, you end up in an area where it's designated to clean up the plates. There are many stacks which are incredibly tall and very dirty. Something feels wrong. Why are there so many dirty plates and so much food? You climb onto a tower of plates and grab onto a hook. You're out of reach, but don't feel safe. You're just hoping 6 can hold on long enough. It doesn't last long as you are forced to let go, so you're not captured and need to run. It's not certain as 6 cannot outrun these adults. Using the environment to your advantage, you slide and climb, avoiding glass bottles being thrown at you. You exit from a hole in the wall. There's a bright yellow flash as the camera adjusts its view. It's the sun, with the sound of waves and seagulls. A ship with adults going to a large entrance. Confusion hits you first. You stand there, pondering, before realization sets in. You're on some type of watercraft. Now the sounds from the beginning make sense, as there was the echoes of this ship moving. You climb up the chain with more caution and questions. While passing, you end up in the guest area, a lavish restaurant where you avoid cannibalistic adults. It feels different. The danger is more obvious and constantly surrounds you. It isn't a jump scare like the janitor's section, or stalking like the chef's. It's a surrounding tactic, causing you to rush to high ground where you feel safer and out of reach. Escaping from a horde of corrupt adults, you see a woman, the same one from 6's nightmare. She enters a lift and disappears. You're aware she's dangerous from her presence alone, but it's your only way forward. Setting aside your fear and your instincts, you go in the lift. It enters the final chapter, the lady's quarters. It is used as a showdown between 6 and the lady. While there is not much to comment about it, it is still extremely important. Like the guest area, it is lavish and mysterious due to the color of purple. However, the air feels thin and the environment is still, as if the air was too scared to breathe. It feels controlled like a dictatorship. Angelic humming can be heard from above, the only sound present in the air. It sounds motherly, yet it is not welcoming, almost as if it were mourning or it is sorrowful. Walking up the stairs and entering her room, you realize nothing is climbable, forcing you to sneak past her on the ground, taking away the one detail that provides security. You climb up on a bedside table, pushing off a vase. You run to hide under the bed, but she never comes. The developers did this as a funny moment, to laugh at you for hiding just like all the other times, and for tension. Going downstairs, the lady is nowhere to be seen. The door slams shut, not letting you escape, scaring you and forcing you to confront the lady. The room is dark, with only a spotlight providing visuals. Mannequins are across the room, making you stop and debate your movements. So next thing you know, they will come alive. The only defense you have is a mirror against the lady, spinning around in circles, watching her levitate around you, disappearing and reappearing as she waits for you to relax. This continues until the mirror shatters and she's on the floor, powerless against you. The entire game is made to make you feel vulnerable and know that you're not safe. While the ending is unclear as 6 just stands on a small island, you wonder what will happen next. The antagonists enhance the fear of being in each chapter as well. The janitor is short, but his long arms are uncanny. The uneven proportions cause discomfort, as it's a physical deformity. He's supposed to be a caretaker, but is far from it. He captures and manages the children with a smile or a grin on his face while doing so. Weirdo! The sounds that leave him are creepy, the clicks of his neck, or sound of aggressively smelling, as if he were a bloodhound. The twin chefs, on the other hand, are much taller and fatter than the janitor. Their personalities are violent, using knives haphazardly, and throwing glass bottles if they spot us. They struggle to move as if they're constantly out of breath, but the moment they see you, running no longer seems like a struggle. The sounds that the chefs make are similar to an alarm. They straighten themselves out of shock and begin running after you. It's weird and uncanny. Their music track matches it as well. The lady's style of scaring is direct, unlike the janitor's or the chef. She chases and circles you as if she were a predator and you were her prey. The moment you escape, she's gone, and a cloud of smoke appears. You question where she had gone and if she can appear right in front of you. It's teasing the player for all the earlier times we have done that. The fact she is the most humanly looking out of all the antagonists and still wears the mask is confusing. It makes you wonder what's under that mask. Is she ugly like the guests, or is she beautiful? We never get to know. But what if it is still not frightening enough? What if we don't look from our perspective, but Six's perspective? She's a 9-year-old girl stuck on this floating eatery filled to the brim with corrupt adults. She struggles from hunger and pain, but the guests greedily stuff themselves. She doesn't dare eat the food knowing it's made from human flesh. The mall itself is not child-friendly. It's designed to keep them in the prison section of the game. Everything is dauntingly tall and large. Even a simple drop from a cabinet can cause Six to die. Her heartbeat as well adds into the fear factor, trying to sneak past mutated adults that will capture you on sight. But you freeze, and your heartbeat fills your ears. The fact Six cannot defend herself, she can only run and hide. It adds a layer of vulnerability and being defenseless. It truly highlights how powerless Six feels, and it reflects onto us. The music immerses us, the audience, to feel more like Six, as well as each piece from the soundtrack is composed to be a nightmare, but also an instrumental lullaby. The notes from the piano are chilling, and the usage of industrial sounds are violent. It's designed to attack your ears and evoke fear as well as uncertainty. It's unsettling that Six is silent. There's not a singular bit of dialogue from her, or any other character for that matter of fact. But it is done on purpose, as her story is that she is suffering in silence. You question what she is thinking and feeling, but you don't know, as there's no sign or indication that would tell you whatsoever. Besides, you're currently more focused on what's ahead than in front of you. I find the game's analogy beautiful. It's a twisted mirror that shows what greed and gluttony can do to humanity, as well as what that type of hierarchy does to a child.